Hi dear students, dear friends, welcome to Gallant IAS and I'm Justin. This is your history session, world history, technical terms, keywords or key terms you have to bring into your answers. World history, there is a question whether you should cover world history for your mains preparation. I would say always expect the unexpected from UPSC. UPSC is always unpredictable, be it prelims or mains, whatever. Since it is part of the syllabus, it would be always nice to have a quick coverage of the syllabus. Also, UPSC has an interdisciplinary approach. World history comes in GS1, but the world history would be helpful, it will be helpful in your GS4. Great thinkers, leaders, reformers, their ideas and their contributions in GS4. Sometimes in GS2 international relations, questions related to international relations, to answer them beautifully, you require a historical perspective, a historical understanding of this world history, international relations topics. Even in freedom struggle, UPSC can frame a question like this: to what extent this World War I or World War II strengthened the freedom struggle movement in India, or the French Revolution, or Italian Revolution, or this American Revolution, or Russian Revolution, how this stimulated the growth of the process of national awakening in India. Such way they can ask questions. So in general studies, don't go for too much generic answers. You know, sometimes the question demands answer to be specific. Even though general studies, they say that the general studies answers to be generic answers, somewhere you have to use, for example, if the question is related to something which is French Revolution, American Revolution, or the question which is related to World War I, II, or Cold War, or disintegration of USSR, etc. Certain terms are there, certain keywords are there, examiner will notice your answer, or maybe such keywords will fetch you relatively better scoring, better marks in your mains papers. Okay, so keywords, some keywords obviously you have to bring into your answer. It's not necessary that from beginning to end you have to fill in with all the keywords. It is not like that. In order to make your answer unique and impressive, certain unavoidable keywords are there. You should know their meanings also. In fact, it is covered in our classes. Now coming to world history. World history, 10 to 12 modules are there. Cover them very quickly. Okay. Certain terms are there. For example, you heard the term which is Iron Curtain. You heard the term Iron Curtain. What exactly this Iron Curtain? This Iron Curtain is the term used by Winston Churchill, British Prime Minister. This is to mark the separation of these European states. For example, this is an imaginary boundary, imaginary ideological physical boundary erected by USSR or Soviet Union. Winston Churchill says Iron Curtain means it is efforts by Soviet Union to protect its satellite nations in this Eastern Europe from getting open contact with Western countries. Okay, this is an imaginary boundary wall created by Soviet Union to protect its satellite nations in Eastern Europe, communist nations in Eastern Europe, from getting open contact with these Western countries. So no one knows what is happening there. That is what you know. Yeah, Iron Curtain, the term used by Winston Churchill. Now there is mercantilism. There is a term called mercantilism. You heard about mercantilism. Mercantilism is something which is economic term used by Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations, you know. It is economic nationalism in which a nation's wealth is judged by the quantity, the total amount of these precious metals, bullions accumulated by that particular nation. The total quantity of the silver and gold accumulated by that particular nation through trade will define that wealth of the nation. On the other way, this is economic nationalism in which a mother nation encourages exports over imports. Okay, more exports and lesser imports, by which that balance of payment, balance of trade will be in favor of mother nation. And by encouraging exports and discouraging imports, it will accumulate to more wealth in the form of silver and gold. That will boost a nation's GDP. And it will create employment opportunities. So mercantilism, for example, British mercantilism is a policy, for example, from North America, from Jamestown, the tobacco must be shipped to Britain only. And Britain will impose taxes on tobacco and it will sell to the rest of the world, to or the markets of its colonies, by which the profit will be accumulated by Britain in the form of gold and silver. That is an example for British mercantilism. Now there is a term which is laissez-faire. Laissez-faire, which is nothing but capitalism. Laissez-faire is something non-intervention by the government in the production, distribution and trade policies. It is privatization. It is, the production, distribution or the profit dividend, whatever, those things will be determined solely by these private capitalists. There is no intervention there is no government intervention in the production, distribution of this factory system. There is laissez-faire. There is another term. Okay. Now coming to, there is another movement which is called Romanticism. You heard about Romanticism? Okay, Romanticism has some characters, or characteristics, which is imagination. Or individuality. Okay, individuality, intuition, or inspiration, idealism, etc. Romanticism is basically a literary movement or an artistic movement. It believes imagination feeling, imaginative fiction or imagination and feelings, emotions, they are more important than the intellect and the reasoning. Imaginations and the feelings, the organic nature, the feeling of nature, natural beauty, appreciation of the beauty of nature, or the imaginative fiction, imaginative feelings, emotions, etc., human emotions, etc., that is more important than intellect and reasoning. It is basically a literary movement, Romanticism. And Romanticism doesn't mean it is love between boy and girl. Again, comedy. Now see, there is a concept which is called, let us use for example, Fascism. Fascism, you heard the term Fascism. Fascism is a totalitarian government, authoritarian government, masculine government. One party dominated, authoritarian, totalitarian government in which the government will oppress its critics or its oppositions by force, by violence. Fascism, Nazism, democracy, many terms we studied. Moving over to next, which is apartheid. Apartheid, you heard that apartheid term, you heard. Apartheid is nothing but racial segregation existed in this South Africa in 20th century. The white minority government racially segregated the white population and black population over there. It's a political cum cultural segregation, because that whitish government believed interest, economic, political, cultural interest of these native Africans and these whites totally different, or the native Africans and other races and the interest of the white population is totally different. So there should be separate system for each. This racial segregation, racial discrimination policy, apartheid system. And now what is important is, there are loads of key terms in every subject here. Your history, your geography, your polity, your environment, your world history, your culture, your ethics, your security, what all some key terms are there, keywords are there. A better understanding of such keywords will definitely help you to frame a good answer. because using keywords will save your time. If you are writing the definitions or detailed explanation instead of that single keywords, you will sometimes exceed that word limits. And in the answer, rather than detailed explanations, more valid points plus these kind of the key terms matters a lot. Answer should be very lucid, answer should be very clear, it should be very easily what is called understandable. So use of the keywords, titles, subtitles and illustrations etc., examples etc. will save your time and save your words in your examination, make your answers more unique. And to have good grip over various subjects, you must know the basics of, or maybe you must have good grip over certain technical terms or keywords of those topics or those subjects. This series will continue. Your valuable suggestions, feedbacks, you can just leave in the comment box. Wishing all the very best, and for mains, practice matters a lot, along with concept learning, content accumulation. Also, you keep on practicing answer writing, that matters. Get regular feedback. Thank you.